So is it really just, so it sounds like for the Bruins, it's really just enjoy the ride this season and enjoy it next season. And then maybe come 2 years from now, your prospects have panned out and you keep some of your veteran players on this roster. Am I correct? And that's kind of what you're assuming is going to happen with this Bruins team. And if so,
Yeah, absolutely.
who are the, Pasta's going to be a focal point? Who are these veterans that you're going to keep around for the next 2 or 3 years until the prospects start panning out and you can start competing again for hopefully 3 or 4 years to Stanley Cup?
Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, they got Geeky's kind of locked up for a little bit. I'm not 100% sure on some of the contracts. I think Zach is here for a little while. There's a lot of replaceable guys in the bottom six right now. Tanner Jeannot's a frustrating one where it's like he started to play a little bit better, but what a terrible contract, like for 5 years. It's just, I look at it as like it's going to be a couple of years of these guys you've never heard of coming in, and maybe they play good, maybe they play well, and they all of a sudden, like, you want to keep this guy to be a bottom six forward for the future. Just looking at some of the prospects, like James Higgins is having an incredible year at BC. Ian Letourneau was their first round pick in 2024. He's already at like 11 points through 10 or so games at BC this year. He had 3 last year. Huge guy. He could eventually be like a decent second liner. I think if you look at the prospect system, the Providence Bruins, by the way, are like 10-2 right now. They're kind of smoking everybody. There are a lot of prospects that I think even by the end of the season, you're going to see a few guys up in the NHL that are going to make an impact in a couple of years. So,
all right. So it sounds promising enough for the Boston Bruins, who, in my opinion, are the furthest away from a championship out of all the Boston sports teams, which is crazy to think about because just if you were to ask me 9 months ago, they might have been right neck and neck with the New England Patriots, and the Patriots are probably the closest team to a championship among the 4 major Boston sports teams. If you look at it, between the Patriots and the Sox, it's really which one do you have more faith in. And well, again, we talked about it at the start of the show. I just don't have the faith in John Henry to buy into this team and spend the money to support this franchise, which is, again, fingertips are reaching for the World Series trophy. It's just, will they get the push from behind from John Henry to get that trophy? And I don't think so. The Celtics are all just, you want to talk about a rebuild again, rebuilding year for the Boston Celtics. You got to dump a bunch of money, kind of suck it up this season. Thank blessing in disguise you don't have Tatum, because without Tatum you'll have a higher draft pick. And when you have Tatum, every single year you want to be competing, because if you're not competing in the NBA with a top 3 player to go all the way, you have an issue. And that's what Tatum is. He is a top 3 player. I will die on that hill. Even when he comes back, he will still be a top 3 player in the NBA. So it's an interesting time to be a Boston sports fan. There's a lot of moving parts, but it feels very similar to what I imagine. I should have gotten old head Paul Christofiuli on for this. I imagine this is what it felt like in the early days of the Tom Brady Patriots, where the Patriots are on the up and up. The Red Sox had something. They needed to add a few more pieces. The Boston Celtics had Paul Pierce at that point in time, but they didn't have anything else around him, which is kind of similar to the Boston Bruins. You got Pasta and like a bunch of decent guys. And then the Bruins in those early 2000s were starting to build that championship roster for the 2010 chip, their last one, sadly. So I feel like we're eerily similar. I said it earlier, time is a flat circle for the Boston Red Sox, and hopefully time is a flat circle for Boston, and we go back to being the greatest sports city in the world, where we're winning